All right, let's dive right in. Today we're going to talk about a tool from Google called NotebookLM. It's designed to be your own personal research assistant, helping you make sense of the mountains of information we all deal with every single day.
Does this picture look familiar? You've got, a dozen tabs open? A folder just packed with PDFs, maybe some meeting notes, a couple of YouTube videos you're supposed to watch. You just know the answer you need is buried in there somewhere, but actually finding it feels like an impossible task. Yeah, that's information overload.
And this is exactly where NotebookLM comes into play. You shouldn't think of it like a regular search engine that scours the entire internet. It's more like an intelligent expert on the specific stuff you give it. It's an AI assistant built from the ground up to help you make sense of your own documents.
Now, the key word on this slide, the one you really got to remember, is grounded. This is the whole idea. NotebookLM only uses the sources that you upload to answer your questions. It's not going to go searching the web unless you specifically tell it to by giving it a link. What does that mean? It means it becomes a personalized expert that is focused exclusively on your content.
So how do you actually take that messy pile of information and turn it into something useful, into your own personal knowledge base? Well, the process is actually way more straightforward than you might think.
It really just boils down to these 3 steps. First, you upload all your stuff, everything relevant to your project, into what they call a notebook. Then, you just start talking to it. You ask it questions, just like you would a human research assistant. And this part is critical, it gives you answers back with citations, pointing you to the exact sentence in your own documents where it found the info.
And check out the sheer variety of what you can feed this thing. We're talking about all the usual suspects, right? PDFs, Google Docs, website links, but it also handles multimedia, like YouTube videos and even audio files by looking at their transcripts. Heck, you can even just copy and paste a chunk of text right in there.
Okay, before we go any further, let's talk about the big one, privacy. This is super important. Google is very clear that the documents you upload and the conversations you have are not used to train their AI models. Your notebook is your own private workspace, period. So you've uploaded your sources. You can ask them questions. That's pretty cool on its own, but this is where it gets really interesting. The studio feature is where you start to feel like you have superpowers, turning all that raw information into really polished, useful formats.
Your first superpower is just pure speed. Imagine getting an instant summary of a 50-page report, or asking a super specific question like, hey, what did the Q3 revenue numbers look like in that meeting transcript? And getting an immediate answer with a citation. No more endless scrolling and skimming.
Now this is just cool. With a single click, NotebookLM can whip up an audio overview. It's basically a mini podcast where 2 AI voices discuss the key points from your sources. That means you can catch up on your research while you're driving, at the gym, you get the idea. And it doesn't even stop with audio. It can also create a video overview. It will actually go through your documents, pull out images, diagrams, and important quotes, and then stitch them all together into a narrated presentation. I mean, how great is that for explaining a complex topic to somebody?
If you're a visual thinker like me, this one's a total game changer. NotebookLM can generate an interactive mind map from your sources. This is perfect for seeing the big picture, and more importantly, for discovering how different ideas connect in ways you might have totally missed just by reading.
And the list just keeps going. You can ask it to generate a study guide with key terms before a test, or create a full FAQ from a dense technical manual. It can even put together briefing documents or build out timelines. The flexibility here is really something else.
All right, with all these amazing features, it is so easy to start thinking of this as some kind of magic wand. But it's really important we do a little reality check about what this tool is and, maybe more importantly, what it isn't. This quote from the team behind it just says it all. It's not a magic box. It's a partner, a collaborator. But you are still the one in charge. That human in the loop is the most crucial part of the whole thing. So let's be super clear here. On the one hand, NotebookLM is brilliant at summarizing information and creating structured outlines. But on the other hand, it cannot do your critical thinking for you. It has no idea if one of your sources is biased or just plain wrong. And it can't tell you if the final essay you write is actually any good. That's still your job. So all this theory is great, but what does it look like in the real world? How are people actually using this thing to get work done? Let's look at a few examples.
For students, this is a huge time saver. Just imagine uploading all your class readings and your lecture notes for the semester. You can create study guides in a flash, get a running start on a literature review,
And you can even ask it to explain a really tough concept in simpler terms over and over again until it finally clicks.
And it's not just for students. Teachers are getting really creative. There's a professor, Anna Henriques, who took her old teaching guides on the Cold War and used NotebookLM to turn them into interactive materials and even podcasts for her students. So cool.
And in the business world, the uses are just as powerful. You've got companies analyzing huge piles of market research, creating onboarding materials for new hires, even speeding up innovation. The electric car company Rivian, for instance, used it to help their teams get from dense technical documents to actual creative brainstorming in minutes, not hours.
And this tool didn't just pop up overnight. It's been evolving very deliberately. It actually started as an experiment called Project Tailwind back in 2023. From there, it grew into business pilots, and now it's becoming a core service for schools. You can really see that path towards maturity and trust.
So, look, if you take just one thing away from all this, let it be this. NotebookLM isn't about knowing everything on the internet. It's about becoming an expert on the specific things that matter most to you, based on the materials you give it. It's AI, but personalized.
And that really brings us to the final and I think most exciting question. When you have an assistant that can become a deep expert on your project, on your research, on your passion, what does that unlock for you? What will you build with that?
Definitely something to think about. That's all for this explainer. Thanks so much for tuning in.